What's going on, Tilray traders and investors? It's Rod with Pow Group. Welcome back on The Pursuit of Wealth, your home for MJ Stocks, crypto assets, news, and interviews. Today is Tuesday, June 24th. Hope you're doing well. And in this video, we got some exciting news. Tilray received first entry into the Italian market, and we're going to summarize the dilution news from yesterday. Had a lot of questions about this. Why is the stock up today when we had dilution news? First of all, it was very small dilution, and I think the video yesterday was quite long, so people didn't really fully grasp it. So we're going to make this one a little bit shorter, and we're going to discuss some bullish news with regards to the Italian market entry, like I said earlier. Before we get to it, make sure to smash the like. If you're new, you can subscribe, tick the bell, all that good stuff. You'll be notified on any future videos or when I go live. And as always, this is not financial advice. This is for entertainment purposes only. And full disclosure, I do own Tilray in my portfolio. It's my largest holding by a long shot. You can also follow us over on X, formerly Twitter. Handle for that is @GroupPow. Going to be using that as my platform of choice going forward. So this was the news of the day. Tilray becomes first company authorized to distribute branded medical MJ flower in Italy. Posted this video yesterday, Tilray brands, news, and more dilution. And again, this was about 27 minutes long, so I think that's probably the issue, is when something's longer than 8 minutes, most people don't watch it. So again, in this video, I talked about it was only small dilution. Some people just read the thumbnail and they think, oh, there's more dilution, the stock's going to be down 10 or 20%, right? But it was just very small dilution. It was only about 12 million shares, or about $5 million, and they used the shares to pay down the debt instead of cash. So we'll discuss that in just a moment. We'll go over this news article, though, from the MJ Herald. There was tons of people reporting about it today. We had MJ, I think it was Benzinga as well, and MJ Biz Daily. But yeah, this was all over the news today. Tilray becomes first company authorized to distribute branded medical MJ flower in Italy. Tilray Medical has made history as the first company to receive formal authorization from the Italian Ministry of Health to import and distribute its branded medical MJ flower products across Italy. And we've noticed that, Tilray is a leader in the European market. They've been a leader pretty much in every single market there is. And now they're getting into the US as well with hemp-derived beverages. I hear people say all the time that Tilray will never sell products in the US. Well, they already are through their alcohol division. And now they're selling hemp HD9 drinks in about 10 different markets, and with the veto of the Texas hemp ban, that's a great thing to see, right? The Texas market's probably going to open back up again, and now they're talking about full regulatory clarity and potential legalization in Texas. That only makes sense in my opinion. It's the same plant, so just like Canada, we're almost 7 years legal here. Hemp, MJ, it's all treated the same thing. But beginning this month, Tilray branded flower is available for distribution to pharmacies nationwide through its subsidiary FL Group. 3 products have been approved for therapeutic use: Tilray psychoactive component 25%, Tilray 18%, and Tilray 9%, and CBD 9%. The milestone underscores the vital role of medical MJ as a therapeutic medicine for patients in need, supporting their health and well-being, said Denise Valtacek, Tilray's Chief Strategy Officer and Head of International. The products are produced in EU GMP certified facilities and are part of Tilray's broader European expansion. The company now has medical MJ operations in Germany, Italy, Portugal, Poland, and the United Kingdom, offering a wide array of products for patients with qualifying conditions. And a lot of MJ companies don't even have Canada under wraps yet. A lot of MJ companies don't even have the US under wraps yet, right? Some of the biggest MSOs in the US, they're only operating in like 10 or 15 different states in the US. Tilray's operating in the US. It's operating in many, many states in the US. It's operating all across Canada. And then all of these major countries, I think it's over 22 countries. So again, you're wondering why the company's not yet profitable. Well, this is a big company. This isn't just, small potatoes. This is a company that's going to be a juggernaut. They're going to be probably, in my opinion, top 5 easily, more than likely top 3, maybe even the number 1 MJ company globally when it's all said and done. Tilray Medical, a division of Tilray Brands, was among the first licensed producers in Canada and has since built certified production hubs in Portugal and Germany. Keep in mind, folks, this is Tilray, Aphria, Hexo, and Redecan. If you would have told me or anybody else 5 years ago that those 4 companies would be operating under one roof, you would have been looked at like you had a third eye, right? You're absolutely crazy. And people seem to forget that. This is an absolute monster of a company, and it's going to absolutely dominate, in my opinion. But again, not financial advice. The company distributes several well-known brands, including Broken Coast, Redecan, and Good Supply. And Redecan, I would say, is probably the number 1 brand out of all of them. This development further cements Tilray's position as a leader in the European medical MJ market and marks a major step forward for patients in Italy who rely on therapeutic MJ. Love to see it. Congrats to the Tilray team. And again, this was from yesterday's video. I posted this, but again, after 8 minutes, you start to lose people. People read a thumbnail, think they understand what's going on. So people were asking me today, I thought Tilray diluted. How come they're not down 10% at least, or maybe even 20%? Well, again, in that video, I explained it. I said it wasn't a very big, amount of dilution, and it wasn't just dilution to keep the lights on, right? They diluted because instead of paying down debt with cash, they did so with shares. And a lot of people are saying, well, why would they do that when they had a lot of cash? We already know they've been talking about saving their cash reserves for strategic acquisitions. So they might be looking at something in the foreseeable future here. And also just wanting to, cash is king at the moment, right? It's very hard for these companies to raise cash and through traditional funding methods. So, cash is king at the moment. So that's going to continue to be the case until, things change. And that's just the way the lay of the land for now and how things have been progressing in the MJ space. It's been a very slow, just ride in terms of, reform, and even in Canada, still high excise tax. So there's been a lot of, dragging of the feet, but in my opinion, this is all by design, right? It's just to protect the big corporations, right? To weed out, no pun intended, all the small operators, the mom and pops, the entrepreneurs, the innovators are going to come in, create all these amazing ideas and innovations and products and breakthroughs and technology. And then the big corporations are going to have the deep pockets to weather the storm, and they're going to come in and scoop it all up for pennies on the dollar. It's the same thing that happens every single time, right? In every sector of the economy. But pursuant to the exchange of the company has issued 12.6 million shares of the company's common stock, valued at less than a penny. And that just means they're exchanging 12.6 million shares in exchange for 5 million of their principal amount owing for the company's 5.2% convertible senior notes due June 1st, 2027. So again, instead of paying down that debt that was due June 1st, 2027 with cash, they're doing it with shares to a party that is not related to Tilray. So that's all that means. And at the end of the day, not a big chunk of change anyway, not a ton of shares. And if the company does implement a reverse split, it's going to reduce the shares either by 10 or by 20. You would divide it by that, whatever the reverse split ends up being. But they said that they're going to put that on pause and they're going to reevaluate the timing and whether or not it's even necessary. They have until September 1st to regain compliance with the NASDAQ, and they could get an extension of 6 months, just like VFF did, and then it regained organic compliance. So that's something Tilray might look at doing as well. So we've got a long time before we even have to implement a reverse split to maintain their NASDAQ listing. So we'll see what happens here. But I mentioned in this video, yesterday, and this is the pattern here, we have a falling wedge, and we had about 9% away from the weekly bear flag target of 32 cents. We're about 8.5, call it 9% away to be safe. We're about 9% away from the low there at 35 cents or 3 pennies, right, respectively. So it doesn't really, we don't have to go to 32 cents from here. We're still respecting this falling wedge. And if we were to break out this week, that means we'd be targeting about a 60 to 61 cent TLRY stock. We also have this bullish RSI divergence, which is hidden bullish RSI divergence. We're trending higher with higher lows and higher highs on the RSI and lower highs and lower lows on the price actions. So generally when that happens, something's got to give and we start to reverse and go the other way. And like I said, if we see this falling wedge breakout this week, we'd be looking at about a 60 plus cent Tilray, and that's USD. And if it happens next week, probably looking at somewhere around a 57 cent Tilray. But again, it might not even happen at all. We just take it day by day, week by week, continue to look at the chart. And as of right now, we're still struggling. We see crypto legislation happening in the US, the Genius Act. We have the stablecoin bill essentially, and then market structure and the Clarity Act to potentially follow. So again, why is MJ not taking center spotlight? It's because MJ is only looking to be $150 billion market globally in the next 5-10 years, whereas crypto is already a multi-trillion-dollar industry. Couple that with blockchain and AI, it's no wonder that every second word out of the new administration's mouth is crypto, blockchain, and AI. Right? We've seen that. There's more money to be made, and it's just a bigger total addressable market, right? And it's going to create more millionaires than any other sector in the economy. I'm very passionate about MJ, just like most of you probably listening to my voice, but we have to call a spade and be realists here first and foremost. But I do think that toward the end of the year, into the fall, take that seasonality into account as well for the MJ space. Generally and technically we do well into the fall. And then we could see maybe even the beginning part of 2026 where MJ starts to take spotlight in terms of regulatory reform. But we're looking pretty good here on the weekly time frame. If we can just get a couple of weekly candle closes over 43 cents, we'll be off to the races, in my opinion. We're well below all of our weekly moving averages. We have no resistance there until $1.13. Won't take much to see us get up there. in my opinion. And then if we can get over that 50-day moving average, we got some runway until about 60 cents. So again, that 44, 43 cents going to be very, very strong resistance. And then after that, we got some runway till about 60 cents. Then beyond that, really nothing until about $1 psychological as well. So let me know what you think of this news. Like I said, I know a lot of people were confused today. They read a thumbnail, they think dilution. Oh, can't believe it. Trash Tilray, right? Trash stock. But if you look at any MJ stock right now, if you're a profitable MJ company, you're probably still down 80% from the all-time high, and you've been absolutely demolished over the last couple of years. So it doesn't matter if you're profitable, unprofitable. It doesn't matter if you're an LP, an MSO, a retailer, a producer. Doesn't matter. ETF, they're all down 80, 90% from all-time highs, and regardless of whether or not they're profitable or not. So what does that tell you? It tells you that the MJ sector is just not in focus. It's just not popular at the moment, but eventually it will be. We have huge growth happening behind the scenes, and the companies that weather this storm are going to absolutely take the world. You know, there's not even going to be any competition left at the end of it, right? And this happens with a lot of new industries, right? This happened pretty much all of them. Is you see, you know, this complete destruction, but once you come out to the other side of that, that's where the real winners emerge, right? Look at the tech boom, right? None of the like original tech companies that started out, think of the pets.com, really made it, right? It was years later when the Microsofts and the Apples and the Amazons came about, and it took people many, many years to even understand the potential that they had and to know what they own, right? So know what you own, look at the company, look at the sector, it's growing. There's nothing to be worried about here, in my opinion. I think Tilray's here to stay. It's never been a more exciting time to be an MJ investor minus the current stock price. But look beyond that, that's a very big illusion. We just have to look at whether or not the industry is progressing, which it is. We're seeing Tilray in Germany. We're seeing it in Italy, Portugal, United Kingdom. There's so much growth ahead. It's not even funny, folks. We're still in the pregame warm-ups. We're not even in the first inning yet. So just sit tight. It's going to be a little while longer. I would say probably, you know, at least 3 to 6 months before we see any real move to the upside. But I'm here for it, and we'll be covering it as things progress. We're going to end it there. Let me know your thoughts and opinions in the comment section. We'll continue the conversation there. It's Rod with the Pow Group. Thanks again for joining us in the pursuit of wealth, and we'll see you again in the next video.